Okay guys, we're looking at the Frost Mage build now. Just on fire. Frost is, again, I'll re-emphasize because typically you're not going to be watching all the videos, you're going to be watching the videos, the specs that you want to look at. So I'll re-emphasize that Battle for Azeroth hasn't really done any major changes to class design. It's mainly the same as Legion, just fine-tuned things that were obviously a little bit lackluster. If you go into my Warlock videos, you'll see the demo has had some changes and which have made it less clunky, more fun, less for summoner, and then buff what you've summoned, and more into just a hordes of demons thrown at people. So Frost Mage, I got a lot of love for Frost Mage. I hate facing arena. I enjoy playing arena. A lot of things in here are pretty much standard for what's on live. We'll start on the first tier anyway. So Bone Chilling's the same on live at the moment. I quite like Bone Chilling. It's 5% more damage, and it's a buff on yourself, not on the target. So whenever you attempt to chill someone, you get the buff. The target doesn't take more damage from yourself, which is quite nice. Lonely Winter, the same as before. Summon a Water Elemental, and you can replace it with Lonely Winter, and you get more damage basically on your mainly key abilities. Ice Nova is still the go-to for myself here though, because it's just another button to press when you're doing again, I'm a PvPer, I enjoy PvP. I'll raid when I have to, but mainly I enjoy arena. So Icy Nova for me is the go-to because it's just another ability you can press in a shatter combo, which of course we've all felt at one point in our life. 30 talent is Glacial Insulation. I believe it's the same as live. Ice Barrier gives you increased armor, and Ice Block applies Ice Barrier when you come out of it. So, bit of survivability. Ice Flows, same as live, 3 charges, 20-second recharge. It's exactly the same as live, to be fair. Means you can cast and move on most of your abilities. Quite nice. Even from a PvE standpoint, that just means that you can be on the move, getting out of the fire while you're still casting. Shimmer will still always be the go-to of talent for most mages. Mainly PvP though, because you've got that ability to just start casting a polymorph and then shimmer next to your target before it's finished casting and guarantee get off. So that's what I've got at the moment. Tier 3 is exactly the same as before on live. Cantus Flow is the same, Mirror Image is the same, the Rune of Power is exactly the same, so those are no different. Your Tier 4 talents, you've got Frozen Touch, which is Frostbolt, grants you 20% more chance for Fingers of Frost and Brain Freeze, so when you're spamming those Frostbolts, you typically should be getting more Fingers of Frost and Brain Freeze effects, which is nice. Coming soon, we don't know yet, this talent has been temporarily frozen in a block of ice, so it's no longer lost in the Twisting Nether, it's in a block of ice. Anyway, and then obviously on this tier you've also got Ebb and Bolt. Now, a lot of us, we enjoyed our artifact powers, we enjoyed our artifact abilities. Fire is on this talent list, is on this tier as well. Fire gets Phoenix Flame still. So on Frost, you're still getting Ebb and Bolt, the choice to build into it if you want to. A lot of people are used to it into their builds. It's there if you want it, so it's quite nice that they've put that back in there for us. We'll see what the third talent is at the moment on that. It could be something groundbreaking, it could be crap, and we all go Ebb and Bolt anyway, so there we are. The next tier of talents, we've got Frigid Winds, which is just a personal favourite of mine. I quite like the fact that your chilling effects reduce the target movement speed by an additional 15%, so I mean for me that's huge. It's 65% movement speed on a Frostbolt. It's so annoying being slowed by a mage to then be further slowed, very irritating. Ice Ward, same as live, 2 charges on Frost Nova, Ring of Frost, same as live. So for me, Frigid Winds all day long. Again, the PvPer in me, to be able to slow that much is insanely powerful, and it'll always be powerful. Frost Mages will always be powerful. Next tier, you've got Freezing Rain, which I quite enjoy the idea of. I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe that's an artifact power trait where your Frozen Orb makes Blizzard instant cast and increases damage by 35%. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's an artifact power trait. It works exactly the same as it does on live at the moment. So do a Frozen Orb and you get your proc of Blizzard. Instant cast and free. So we've got Freezing Rain there. We've got Splitting Ice. 5% more damage on your Ice Lance and Icicles, but also they hit a nearby enemy. Now this, I believe, is a different change though now. Your Ebon Bolt and your Glacial Spike also hit a second nearby target. Now if you are going Glacial Spike, which is very strong damage, the ability to hit somebody with 2 Glacial Spikes, you imagine like playing against a Destro like who Havoc's his Chaos Bolts. It's nowhere near that because Glacial Spike hits ridiculous. So if you Glacial Spike in 2 targets, that's game breaking. Like, in my opinion, that's really strong. So it's a really competitive tier this because the Blizzard damage is nice as well. And Comet Storm I know is a lot of go-to talent for a lot of you mages out there in Arena and all sorts as well. So, but for me, I like the idea of Glacial Spike hitting a second target for 80% of its damage. That's for me is quite big. So we're interesting to see how that plays out. So far though, it seems to me that Frost Mages will still be in a very strong place PvP wise. PvE wise, it'll be a numbers game to be honest. No one will really know until people are raiding and people are doing dungeons to see how a class is tuned. But in terms of PvP, which is where I'm mainly going to be emphasising on, Frost Mages are still damn strong. Your last tier is Thermal Void. Again, a slight change here, I believe. Icy Veins now is increased by 10 seconds more, so it's a 30-second duration on Icy Veins, which is really nice. So in your Ice Lance is just, rocking that more and more. I reckon over an arena game, you're probably going to get an additional 6 seconds, maybe 5 seconds. That's a 35-second Icy Vein. That's huge. And it's a very long DPS cooldown. Ray of Frost hasn't changed. It does generate Fingers of Frost now, though, over its duration, which is again different. And I believe it's got a movement slow, which I don't think it had before, but I could be wrong. 1.25 minute cooldown now instead of 1 minute, so that's changed. And then of course you've got Glacial Spike. So Glacial Spike is exactly the same as it is on live. It's still disgusting. Pales your target, freezes them in place for 4 seconds. When you could follow up with a freeze after a Glacial Spike, you hit them with an Icy Nova and a couple of Ice Lances, and typically your target is dead. So for me, it's always going to be Ice Glacial Spike. So for now, though, I want to just take Splitting Ice. I want to see how this kind of stacks up. So we're going to Frostbolt these targets, get our Icicles up. We've got a Brain Tooth proc, so that's nice. Get our Flurry off. So we've now got our Glacial Spike, which is lighting up there. So we're going to Glacial Spike, and then we're going to do an Icy Nova. So this should be hitting 2 targets. See, that to me is extremely overpowered. To be able to Glacial Spike 2 targets is insane. Anyway, I will stop moaning on about it now. Anyway, it's just, for me, it's just insane. The only other changes are that, if you watch my Fire DPS video, you've got Arcane Intellect now being a raid buff again. I went on a little bit in the Frost Mage about how I'm against homogenization. I like classes, the whole bring the player, not the class mentality, I disagree with personally. I like the fact that if you brought a Shaman, you get Flame Tongue buff, you get this buff. If you brought a Mage, you got Arcane Intellect. It just meant that you could build a PvE team or even an arena team focusing on certain strengths. You could have a Wizard Cleave, just buffing all the other wizards with all their buffs. Of course, homogenization did bring along things like Warrior, Lock, Druid. So, there are pros and cons for both. Personally, I like the fact that you've got Arcane Intellect again as a group buff. I like that. It just means there's an extra reason to bring a Mage, apart from the fact they do sick damage. So overall, concluding, my thoughts are Frost still in a good place. If you're enjoying Frost now, you'll enjoy it in BFA. Not much has changed. A little bit of fine tuning. Not a great deal, to be fair. You haven't lost Ebon Bolt. They're still in a very good place PvP wise, and I'm sure we'll see them for a long time to come. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, hit subscribe if you want to, and any tips or criticisms you got for me, that's absolutely fine. I'm pretty much a noob at this, so anything you got for me is great. But if you did like it, make sure you watch all my other videos, because I'll be going through every class and every spec in BFA Beta. Alright, thanks.